Hi, my name is Adriel William, and today's video is for all the foreign trained dentists who are lined up for an interview with Nova Southeastern Dentist School or who are expecting an invite and preparing for this school. So I'm going to try to help you out with the interview process and give you a couple of strategies and past experience from students who gave interviews at this school. So about 3 years ago, I had a couple of candidates I was working with and kept it application in their personal statement, and then later on they got an invite from Nova, had a interview with them and got accepted. And even last year I had a couple of students who got accepted, and I've been in conversation with them and talking to them about regarding the school, their whole experience, and I'm going to share some insight with you. Couple of things I'll tell you about Nova is that most candidates, even when they are applying, they ask me it's a 36 months long program as compared to other schools. For example, Colorado is 24, NYU is 28, and this is 36, which is a longer advanced standing program than the other school. And most people say this is longer, should I be even applying or not? And I'm aware that when a program is longer, it means that you're going to be paying more at the school, you're going to be paying more for living there, and you're not getting any younger while you're in school. But I think it is a good school. If you want to get an admission, get a DDS and practice as a dentist, you should apply to multiple schools, and Nova could be one of them. And being in Florida is a good option overall as a dentist right now. It's a hot place for a lot of new dentists. A lot of dentists want to move to Florida and work there because the income tax and overall it's a favorable place. People have more buying option. They can pay for bigger treatment plans. So a lot of dentists wants to be in Florida. Now coming to Nova, before 3 years ago, they had foreign trained program, but the way they used to take foreign trained program was like University of Kentucky, that whenever one or two local student drop out in their first year, second year, they would recruit these foreign trained dentists and replace them in their program. But about 2 years ago, they had a totally separate program for foreign trained dentists. And Nova's main campus had been in Fort Lauderdale, which is right next to Miami. And now they made another campus in Tampa Bay area, Clearwater region, which is separately just for foreign trained dentists. So to make it simple, what I'm saying that the traditional school, dentist school, was in a different location, and they remotely started a whole different campus where they are just teaching the foreign trained students. So it started about 3 years ago, this separate campus, and they have been recruiting more faculty, more staff up there. They are setting up this place, and whenever there's a new initiative, there is experimentation. And I've been talking to the candidates, I've been talking to the students and asking about their experience, how it has been, the difference between other programs and this program. And overall, I think it's a good program. If you can get accepted, it would be good. Yes, there are experimentation going on, but eventually you can make the best out of it if you're smart as a student. So the first people, like about 2 years ago, who gave interview for this foreign trained dentistry program, like the advanced standing program, they had a bench exam and then they had an interview. So it was a 2 days process where people would go in, give their bench exam, and they will be giving interview during their visit at the same time between those 2 days. And the good part about Nova is that they were allowing students a day before the bench exam to come and sit in their simulation lab and practice hands-on on the typodont. So kind of like mentally allowing you to come and prepare so you get used to it, which is a good thing. Most institutions don't allow you to do that because it's just costly for them. But even getting a chance to be in that environment, getting used to it, it mentally gives you a better preparation. So that would be the first thing. The bench exam at Nova, over the past 3 years, most candidates have told me, not even 3 years, even before that, they said usually take their bench exam on a typodont and they give you exercises on the mandibular molars. So it's going to be either 19 or tooth number 30. They ask you to do a goal prep or a class 2. But this was in the past year. Maybe after this video, they might change it. They might give you a maxillary class 2 or a premolar to crown prep for crown prep. As a candidate, when I was a CAPIT candidate, I would highly encourage you should be mentally prepared to do class 2 on maxillary molars, on mandibular molars. You should be able to do a crown prep on maxillary premolars, tooth number 9, mandibular molars. You should be prepared for anything, because they can give you a surprise and you can't say that Adriel didn't say it in the video before. So when you're preparing for bench exam, make sure you're good at everything. So if anything unexpected comes your way, you're ready for it. Now, coming to the interview, about 2 years ago, people who were giving interview, they had a one-on-one interview, like a conversation where they read your personal statement and they will talk to you about, tell me about yourself, your strength, your weakness, why you want to come to this school, what makes you so unique, and why do you like dentistry, how do you manage stress, and these kind of questions. And most of these, I posted them on my YouTube channel. You can watch these interview questions. But last year, what happened is then that rather than doing that one-on-one interview, they started to make people sit in a group, like 4 to 5 people in a group. And there's one faculty who would just talk to them in front of the group, in the group. Now, this kind of changed the dynamic, because when you're individually, you just have to, you're monitoring just one person, you're talking to that one person, you're hearing what they are saying, you're looking at their body language, you're trying to understand what they are asking and what kind of a person that individual is, and you answer them. That's how our brain works. But now when you're in a group, things change, because it's not just one person, there's several other colleagues sitting right next to you, and you are a little bit cautious. They might be judging you. And there's also a sense of competition. If I'm in a group setting where I have 4 or 5 other foreign trained dentists sitting with me, and all of us are competing for admission, I will be a little bit competitive with them. And I can tell you one thing, this when I was interviewing or giving interview at University of Southern California, USC, the PBL was something similar, where you would be in a group and everybody is trying to show that they are the better candidate than the other ones. And I'll give you a couple of tips regarding this. First of all, as a baseline, I would highly suggest that you should be prepared for interview preparation as an individual, as a one-on-one. That's the baseline. You should be prepared to give an answer like, tell me about yourself, your strength, your weakness. You should be aware that some questions might come out from your personal statement, from your resume. If you've done any volunteer work in the past, if you've done some different activities in your personal statement, they can ask you some questions from there. So mentally, you should be prepared for them. They can ask you about your strength, your weakness, what kind of dentistry you want to do, why do you want to come to Florida. And one of the things I'll tell you about NOVA, that it's a school in Florida, and Florida is one of the biggest Florida has one of the highest population of Spanish speaking people. There's a lot of Cuban immigrants that move up there. Overall, they have a large number of Spanish speaking population. So if you have some past experience of working with Spanish community, or if you can speak Spanish, or if you lived in Florida, that's actually a plus point for you. So you want to talk about some experience which includes diversity. If you didn't work directly with the Spanish community, at least you should have some exposure of diversity. You shouldn't be somebody coming right off from India or Pakistan or Middle East and just say that I only worked with my own people and I have no idea about diversity, about different religions, cultures, because that would be a little difficult for them. Because you need to understand these cultures have a lot of variations. Like even I can tell you, like, back in the days, I used to teach English as second language classes in US. And when you're interacting with females from Middle Eastern society, you have to be more careful how you interact, because the cultural norms for people coming from Pakistan would be different from the Middle Eastern community, or then as compared to people coming from Venezuela or Cuba. So there are some, I would say, sensitivity of every culture, how they perceive things. You have to be very careful. And when you tell in your interview that I had the opportunity to work with diversity. I can understand there's always difference in people coming from different background, but you are respectful for that, and you try to learn, and you try to integrate that in your dental practice. That would show you as a better candidate. So these kind of things you should be prepared for. But when it comes to group setting, there are a couple of advanced, I would say, strategies or advice I will give you. First of all, I want you to know that when you're sitting in a group, you shouldn't be the most nervous person in the room. Don't come under pressure when you walk in, especially if you've been giving your bench exam, you've been very stressed out, you've been looking through the loops for this past 1 or 2 hours, and now you're going in an interview and there are about 5 people sitting in there. My first advice would be, don't get overwhelmed, don't get under pressure, don't start sweating too much. Have a bottle of water, something like that. Keep yourself calm. And one other thing that might help you, if you go for an interview like a day before there, try to meet other candidates, be friendly with them, talk to them, talk about something interesting, enjoy the time, so you kind of get used to them. So because when we don't know people, we take them as our adversary, as our foes. You don't want to have that mentality. You want to break some ice, talk to them, so if kind of like mentally prepared. Then when you're sitting with them, you want to maintain some confidence in yourself. You don't want to look like the most nervous person in the room. And the other thing is, even though our instinct are somewhat like we want to be very competitive, we want to speak more, we want to empower the room, you don't want to be that person. You want to be there and show yourself as somebody who's a team player. That's one of the most important thing. These dentist schools put you in group because they want to see whether you're a team player or not. They will see how you interact with people. If something is being asked, do you try to cut them and speak ahead of them? Do you try to act egoistic and show you're the bigger dentist, you have more clinical experience? These are very small things that they are trying to note. So one thing you want to do is make sure that you try to be a team player. Keep your calm, because I'm going to tell you one thing which I've learned from the students, that in NOVA, there's about 60% of your whole admission process is measured by your typodonts and your bench exam. So there's a large chunk that is evaluated regarding your application from your bench exam. So you want to focus on that. Focus on that. Make sure you ace your class 2, you make a really good class 2, you do a very good gold crown. And I think I've gone through the process. You practice multiple times, you keep practicing, and eventually you will get good. And most students told me that the environment is pretty calm, it's good, it's not like they are stressing you in the sim lab. And one of the students told me they have electric handpiece they give you, so get used to it a little bit. The teeth consistency can be different, it can be a little harder or softer as compared to what you've been practicing on. So make sure you get used to it so you don't get nervous. Now coming back to the interview, so you should be prepared to talk about yourself, about all the basic questions I told you, about your strength, weakness, why you want to come to Florida. Talk about diversity, talk about a Spanish community interaction if you're one of them, if you're a Spanish speaking person, talk about your experience. That's very good. But even beside that, they will be looking at you, how you interact with your colleagues. I'm telling you one thing, the schools in the United States are not looking for the next Albert Einstein. They are not looking for the most genius dentist in the universe. What they are actually looking for, somebody who's teachable, who can work in a team, and who's humble enough to spend their 2 years learning up here, graduate and leave and do whatever they want to do. Because trust me, when they start foreign trained dentistry program, their problem is not that it's difficult to teach dentistry, is they have far more difficulty understanding the background these people are coming from. And we are seasoned people, like we come when we are around 30, 32 in these programs, 34. So making sure these dentists don't have super egos, and they want people who are teachable, who are team player, who are cooperative. So I would highly suggest that when you're in that interview process, when you enter that campus, when you leave your home for the interview, tune your brain into being that person. Tell yourself in the mirror that I'm going to act like the one of the most teachable person, who's humble, who wants to learn, and who will be a good team player. Because those are some of the things that they are looking in their candidate, along with the bench exam performance that you would do. So these are some of the things I can suggest you for this interview process. But if you feel like you have more questions, or you want an individual preparation session for this interview, you can reach out to me, you can text me, and hopefully I'll try my best to help you out with this. And hopefully, if you like this video, do hit on the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you share it with your friends, that would be really encouraging for me as well. And hopefully I'll see you in a more meaningful video. Thank you.